WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Past a diving third baseman Schneeman and down the line. Barger in to score, Clement behind him. And now the ball bobbled out behind second. As in recent years, the throw gets away, and Straw's coming home. And now Manzardo throws it past Naylor.
With the 58th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Saliou Niang from Dakar, Senegal, and Italy's Trento Club.
Zach Pop takes over for Seattle, and Lee sends one in the air to right field and deep. Back it goes towards the dock, and that is gone. Nothing old school about that. A sinker to Lee's liking, and the Twins add on. It is now 3-0.
Go for two and a walk tonight.
It's a breaking ball and lines in. Base hit! Soto is in. Alonso right behind him. Jeff McNeil drives in a pair, and it's 4-0 New York.
And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Fill in the Blank Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show, here and live and ready to go on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world at AM 1310 WDPN.com. Sam Bourquin here, Ryan Rainsberg on the other side of the glass as we welcome you in to the Friday gathering. And just as we came on the air, I heard a couple big rumbles of thunder outside. We've had a couple of brief storms the last 15, 20 minutes, and it looks like it might fire up again today. I got to tell you what, I cannot remember a time in this point of the year where we have, it's almost like we're living in Florida. Like you wake up, the sun's out, it's a little sticky, and then you go about your day. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, noon, lunch, 1, 2, 2:30, clouds. 3, boom, rain. It's been like this. It feels like it's been like this like 5 out of every 6 or 7 days. And maybe I'm over exaggerating here a little bit, but this just seems like it's like this every single day. And I wonder if it's ever going to stop and we can get back to our normal, well, about as normal as you can be for Northeast Ohio. But we get rain and like these pop-up storms like every single day, it seems. It's unbelievable. It really is. Now I'll take this over, 22 below wind chill. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, are we in Florida? Or like a couple of days, I thought we were maybe lived in Portland or Seattle because all it did was rain. But hopefully things will look up a little better here this coming weekend. So welcome in. Hope your weekend is off to a good start. Hope your Friday is going well. And I hope you have a great weekend planned, whatever you've got going on, stuff with the family. Maybe you got some parties to go to. You're going to get out in the sun, do a little swimming, play some golf, get some household things done. Hope it works out well for you. Phone lines are open as they are each and every day right here at 330-821-1310. It's 330-821-1310. You can also text the show at 924-7088. And don't forget to like, follow, share, comment on all of the AM 1310 WDPN, Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media platforms. You can also hang out with us if you wish each and every day, 3 until 6 on the Q92 radio page on YouTube. So we're off and rolling here today. We've got cards coming up at 7 o'clock tonight up at Progressive Field. Blue Jays out of town. They just took 2 out of 3 from Cleveland, so now the St. Louis Cardinals have moved in for a 3-game series. And we're going to take a little deep look today at the Guardians. We kind of did this a little bit yesterday, but I think I was like in one of those moods because they just got shut out 6-0, and they only had 2 hits. They had 4 errors. Manzardo looked like a little leaguer at first base. Bo Naylor looked like a little leaguer behind the plate. And I kind of got caught up in the moment, and I made it come down a little bit hard yesterday. But we're gonna peel back some of the numbers today, and we're gonna look at the top guys and what they're doing, and the numbers that they're putting up, and then we're gonna look at the numbers by the guys who aren't producing. And I did a little dry run with this a couple of hours ago when I was putting this together, and you know what I came up with? I came up with what I've been saying the last 3 weeks. We have 2 baseball players on this team. That's it. And everybody else is on the block. And you can have them if you can get me something in return that I want. Something I can work with now and maybe something that I can work with down the road. We have 2 players on this team, and sadly, one of them is probably going to be gone, and that's Stephen Kwan. Folks, you will not believe what comes out of my mouth when I'm telling you some of the batting averages, the slugging percentages, the on-base percentages, the fielding percentages, the rankings in Major League Baseball as a team that the Guardians are putting out there. It is mind-blowing. So we're gonna take a little deeper dive into the Guardians in their numbers today. The NBA draft continued last night. Actually, it ended last night. Round 2. And the Cavaliers, at number 49 last night, picked up a young man by the name of Tyrese Proctor. And you may be saying, Proctor. Oh, yeah. He was that other guy on Duke. It wasn't Knipple. It wasn't the first-round draft pick. It was Miles Proctor. So I immediately went to the Miles Proctor highlight reel last night. And it's like, yeah, I remember this dude. He can play. He's not a Knipple. He's not a Cooper Flag. But this kid can play. Almost 41% from behind the three-point line. He's a solid 6'4", and he can play. And I saw some stuff on the internet last night, some good basketball pages on X and what have you, that it looks and sounds like the Cavaliers right away are going to sign this kid to a multi-year contract. It's not going to be one of those, hey, you're here, you're the number 49 pick, second round. We don't expect much out of you. You may play with the Charge for a while. We'll probably sign you, but don't get they really, 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 really like this kid. And I know highlight films are what they are. They show all the best things you can do and none of the worst things that you're capable of. So you got to take those highlight films and quick reels and clips with a little bit of a grain of salt. I think this kid can play. And I would not be surprised as a rookie. He's going to get some pretty good minutes on this club. I'm not saying he's going to start. And I'm not saying he's going to be the 6th, 7th, or 8th, or 9th guy off the bench. But you're going to see Proctor before you don't see him. He's got good basketball acumen. I'm telling you what, very rarely have I ever come on a radio show that I've hosted the day after the second round and said, hey, this kid, look out. I don't think I've ever said that in my life. I think I said it maybe Maybe the one year the Cavaliers, they drafted Chucky Brown out of NC State in the second round. I went, whoa, Chucky. No, I haven't done that since. I learned, okay? I learned not to get infatuated with guys that are picked in the second round. And most of them are draft and stash, right? You pick these guys, and then they play overseas, or they're stuck in the minor leagues, so to speak, the G League, and you don't even expect to hear their name called for 3 or 4 years. It's like put some weight on them, get them in the training room, let them shoot, let them run, let them get coached up, and maybe 3 years or down the road, we'll revisit and we'll see what we've got. Not the case with this kid. I think. I hate to use this cliche. He could be a steal, an absolute steal for the Cavaliers in the second round. So we'll get into that a little bit today as well. NHL Draft is tonight, and I know a lot of the people are not going to be glued to the TV for the NHL Draft, but the one thing that came to mind, I was talking to Keller out in the lobby this afternoon, and I went back into my office, and I'm writing stuff down. Okay, NBA Draft finished up. NHL Draft is starting today. You talk about the teams that have won Stanley Cups, teams that have won NBA championships, teams that have never done anything, teams that maybe get a sniff once every 10 years, and then they go away. And you know who came to mind? The Columbus Blue Jackets. That's the first thing that popped into my head. And the next thing I wrote down is, will this – there's another storm warning I'm hearing? Could be. I was like, are the Columbus Blue Jackets ever going to get it? Are they ever going to win consistently? Are they ever going to figure it out? Are they ever going to advance out of a first-round playoff? Are they ever going to go on like a 10, 12-game win streak? Are the Columbus Blue Jackets ever going to be that hot ticket in town? And look, I know they're popular in Columbus. I know they are. And if they put a little win streak together, people come out. They're out early in the season. They got great promotions there. I love their logo. They do a lot of cool things. I think they got a great marketing department, great promotional department. But, man, you got to win. You got to start to win. And they don't win. And my question is, why? Why don't they win? Why don't they win more consistently? Why are they not always in the playoffs and trying to get to through the first round, second round, maybe a conference finals? They're never even close. And I think that they have been given a pass. Look, I don't live in Columbus. I don't hear all the hubbub down there. But I think they've been given a pass for so long. And I really don't quite understand it. The goal is to win. The goal is to win and raise Lord Stanley's Cup and to skate around the ice and hold that bad boy over your head and get showered by applause from 20,000 people at Nationwide Arena. Well, it seems to me that they're so far away from that I just don't even see it happening. Changing coaches, guys after a couple of years, they want to leave. I remember we had Rick Nash for a little while, and that created some buzz. And look, I don't claim to know anything and everything about the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't. But I do know that the important thing, they don't win. And how a lot of these other teams in the NHL, especially the expansion teams, like Vegas and, some of the teams that have come in, we talked about the Florida teams all the time, how good they are. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Utah Mammoth, who used to be in Phoenix. Watch them catch fire. Teams have won multiple Stanley Cups. The Columbus Blue Jackets don't do anything. And I just as just a fan, I just want to know why. What's the problem? Is it ownership? Is it the general manager? Is it the team president? I mean, obviously they think it's coaching because we run coaches in and out. Is it poor drafting? Are they just not getting it? And that just kind of came to my mind today when I thought about the NHL draft getting ready to go tonight. So I'll keep my eyes on it. But hockey fans out there, Blue Jacket fans out there, even if you're not a Blue Jacket fan, maybe you're a Penguin fan, a Red Wing fan, Dallas Stars, Tampa Bay Lightning, whatever, LA Kings, Boston Bruins, Rangers. Why do you think the Blue Jackets just don't get anything done? They just don't win consistently. Oh, I also was talking to Keller today. The New York Islanders had like a 3% chance to win the NHL draft lottery. You better believe they won. Yes, sir. So the Islanders will have the number 1 pick in the draft. So we'll have a little fun with that today as well. It's also a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. And today's fill-in-the-blank Friday question is, the best advice you ever received was blank. What's the best advice in your lifetime that you have ever received? 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can also text your answer in at 330-924-7088. Great response already on all of our social media platforms, but I'd love to hear from you today as well. What's the best advice you have ever received? That's our fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. All right, coming up on 324 on this fill-in-the-blank Friday. Lines are open, 330-821-1310. You can also leave your comments on all of our social media platforms. Looks like it's getting ready to rain again, so if you're out and about, be careful. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more of the Sam Bourquin Show right here on AM 1310 WDPN.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
And we're back here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. Our fill-in-the-blank Friday question, the best advice you have ever received is blank. The best advice you have ever received is blank. 330-821-1310. We'll hit the social media circuit here, and we'll read some of your comments coming up. But we understand some activity on the social media front across the way. Buck is at it again in Louisville today.
Yep, Buck is hitting up our text line. He says, do you think that Cleveland is too analytic of an analytically ran ball club? He's also saying Cavs drafting Proctor. Who's the odd man out? Jerome Morrill or Porter? Sorry. He said they're drafting Porter. No, he's
okay.
Yeah, sorry. No, I thought they were the same guy, but they are not.
So he's thinking, who's the other guy out? Ty Jerome or Porter?
Yeah, Jerome, Merrill, or Porter.
Ooh, Merrill. Yeah. Well, they're not going to be able to keep all three. If they sign Ty Jerome, that really takes them way, way over the cap, the tax a little bit more. They might be in the 25th apron if they re-sign Ty Jerome. But Porter and Merrill, there's pieces, parts there. I would be, I'm thinking a guy like Dean Wade maybe it doesn't come back. That's a guy that I would think about. His other question about what was it, the analytics?
Yeah, he says, do you think Cleveland is too analytically a ran ball club?
I think the Browns are too analytically run. I'll say that. I believe that for a long time. As far as the Guardians are concerned, I don't think they're too overlytically ran. I think they're too cheaply ran. Does that make sense? I think it does. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Yeah, I mean, analytics has a place. And again, I'm going to get thrown into the you're getting old. You're the get off my lawn guy. Things have changed, and I understand they've changed. But I'm telling you, you don't need to analytic things to death. That's not how it works. Let me put it this way. That's not how that it needs to work. Analytics has a place, but you can't base every stinking decision you make off of it. You really can't. It has a place. It has a percentage of place in your decision making. There is a place for it. There is a time to collaborate. And what's the Browns thing? They want to get in line. Everybody's got to be on the same line. They want to collaborate. They want everybody to fall in place. Sometimes you got to use your gut and your heart too. I would say that probably goes more toward football, but basketball, baseball, even hockey, I'm sure there's organizations that hire 55 people from the Ivy League to be in charge of their analytic department. There's a place for it, but I don't think it needs to be the overwhelming bearing of your decision making. That's just how I feel. I mean, some may disagree, and that's fine. But as far as the Guardians being too over analytically run, I can't say that it's too much, but I'd say that they probably use it a little bit more than I would like. We'll just put it that way. All right, we got the news, we got the weather coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. It's a fill-in-the-blank Friday of the Sam Bourquin Show. Happy Friday, everybody, 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. In a ruling on President Trump's executive order aiming to end birthright citizenship in the United States, the Supreme Court has granted a win for the Trump administration. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reports.
This is a long-sought victory for conservatives who've been arguing for years that individual district court judges have exceeded their authority when they've granted nationwide injunctions to block an administration's actions. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote for the 6-3 majority that when lower court judges do that, they risk causing irreparable harm to the government. Now, this is not a final ruling on the limits of birthright citizenship, but for now, the court says the administration can begin to implement Trump's executive order.
President Trump celebrated the court's ruling at the White House this afternoon.
Hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves.
The plaintiffs in the birthright citizenship case filed an amended complaint seeking class action relief in response to the Supreme Court decision. President Trump says he expects Iran to open itself to international inspection to verify it doesn't restart its nuclear program. Asked during a White House news conference today if he would demand during expected talks with Iran that the International Atomic Energy Agency or some other organization be authorized to conduct inspections, the president responded the Islamic Republic would have to cooperate with that group or somebody that we respect, including ourselves. Earlier, Iran's top diplomat said that the possibility of new negotiations with the U.S. on his country's nuclear program has been complicated by the American attack on 3 of the sites, which he conceded caused serious damage. Senate Republicans appear to have President Trump's big bill back on track after a flurry of last-minute revisions, but there's still a long way to go. Trump himself gave Congress some breathing room as senators race to meet his 4th of July deadline, saying that date is not the end-all. With their majority control of Congress, the GOP is trying to push the package past Democratic opposition. To do so, they are working through a punch list of still unsettled issues, including Medicaid health care cuts. A federal judge has sentenced a Colorado funeral home owner who stashed nearly 190 decomposing bodies to 20 years in prison on federal fraud charges. John Halford stored the bodies in a room temperature building between 2019 and 2023. Prosecutors say he cheated customers and defrauded the federal government out of nearly $900,000 in pandemic aid. He had faced a maximum of 20 years in prison at today's sentencing. Halford will be sentenced in August in a separate state case in which he pleaded guilty to 191 counts of corpse abuse. It's 84 degrees and Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Aerial Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Your weather forecast calling this afternoon for a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 88 degrees. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms late, mostly cloudy, a low 71. Saturday, another 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 84. For Sunday, mostly sunny skies, a high near 87. That's your WDPN weather.
Music and intelligence for your life. No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room with
AM 1310 WDPN. It's the Sam Bourquin Show. Hope you are having a wonderful Friday. Thanks for spending some time with us here on this Friday afternoon, getting ready for the weekend. Hope you got some great plans, and I hope you have a lot of fun coming up here the next couple of days as we'll all reconvene here on Monday, starting at 6 a.m. with Rex in the mornings, and then John Tesh, 10 until 3, and then we are back in the hot seat Monday at 3 o'clock, the Sam Bourquin Show right here on 1310 WDPN. And don't forget to check us out on all of our social media platforms, 1310 WDPN on Facebook, on X, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Today is a fill-in-the-blank Friday, and your question today is, the best advice you ever received in your life was blank. The best advice you have received in your life is blank. 330-821-1310, or hit us up on social media. All right, get some good comments coming in already. Lynette says, keep your mouth shut. That's the best advice she ever got. Martinette says, trust in God's plan. Absolutely. Steve down in Dallas says, Sammy, split your deuces. Never loses. Lee says, staying in Montana and not coming back to Ohio. Walter, respect others. Treat people how you would like to be treated. Doug Parton, he gave me 4. I'm going to have to clean up some of the language here, but I'll do it. He says the best advice he gave his kids, keep your blank wired tight. Don't be a bleep in public. Don't go to school or work looking like a soup sandwich. And number 4, always and always be on time. Appreciate it, Doug. Jeff Harlow. Jeff, hope you're well. Thanks for listening. Says, live every day like it's your last. Peggy says, hey, act like you are somebody. I like that. Timothy Abrig. This was funny. He says, never purchase anything off of someone who starts off the conversation with, hey, psst, hey, buddy, come here. That's a good life lesson right there. Tom Lawyer says, don't ever eat yellow snow. Agreed. Sean Broom says, shoot the ball. Love it. Let's see here. Pam says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's an oldie, but a goodie. Jim Montella. Jim, thanks for checking in today. Says, listen, 2 ears are better than 1 mouth. And I'll read 2 more here. Tom Wagner says, if you think you can, you'll find a way. If you think you can't, you'll find an excuse. I like that. That's good. And Michelle Vick, hope you're doing well, says, don't threaten if you're not going to follow through. That's your fill-in-the-blank Friday. The best advice that you have ever received is blank. And we'll continue to read these throughout the afternoon here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. I got to tell you what, whether it's a 3-question Thursday, it's a poll question, a fill-in-the-blank Friday, you guys and girls are the best because I get responses. Some I think I'm going to get. Some I would have no idea. Some are like on point. Some are out of the box. But it's all just like it's a big melting pot of people that have opinions or giving answers to questions. And it's like, wow, okay. I feel like we all learn something every day. And yes, we're here to talk about sports, and we're here to talk about entertainment, a little pop culture, and local news, and some of the stuff is just bad stuff to hear. Accidents on the road like we had on 62 yesterday, and we're talking about weather. We're talking about different things. But I always kind of feel like when I walk out of the studio at 6. I feel like I learned something. And maybe I learned something about you as an individual or you as a group of people. And I certainly hope that you walk away here, you think you find that you maybe learned something, or we made you think a little bit, Maybe we touched the button. You got a little bit angry. You didn't necessarily agree, but you appreciate the opinion on this side. Hopefully you walk away with a couple of we want you to walk away with a lot of belly laughs before you turn everything off at 6 o'clock. Actually, don't turn it off at 6 because we get great music coming at 6 every day. But yeah, it's kind of cool just to hang out. I mean, how cool is it to, like, I sit here in this chair, and I'm here in front of this 1310 banner here, but I feel like I can almost just, like, reach out and, like, see everybody. And that you're there, and we're all just kind of hanging out. Like, I'm not talking at you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking with you, and I'm listening. Because you can call in, right, at 330-821-1310. You can comment on social media. You can text at 330-924-7088. So we can have this back and forth. We can have this dialogue. We can have these conversations. And what would radio be without it? Remember, long time ago, way before I even get into the business, guys would sit in the studio and they would just talk. There was no interaction. There was no text line. There was no video chat. I mean, some places didn't even have the means to get a guest on the phone. It was just somebody in a room just talking and talking and talking. And that was it. It was like the conversation went this far and it could go no further. And you couldn't, like, penetrate that window to interact because we just couldn't do that back then. But now we can interact as soon as we crack the mic here at 3 o'clock until we shut it off at 6. And I just think that's the coolest thing in the world. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. Sometimes it gets happy. Sometimes it gets sad. Sometimes it gets unpredictable. But that's the kind of like the world we live in. And what a great medium this is to just have this conversation. Like we're all just kind of, I don't know, sitting at a big table. We're all sitting at the world's the biggest horseshoe bar in the world. And we can just talk and interact and have fun and communicate with one another. And we can do it for 3 hours a day. Then we go on about our lives and we do things with our family, with our friends. We work, we play. We do both. We do other things. Then we all come back and get together again the next day. And I certainly hope that you all make this like your appointment at 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Whether you've got us on the radio at 1310 WDPN, you got us on a Facebook page, Twitter page, maybe YouTube. Doesn't matter what the way it is, as long as you're here. And we certainly appreciate you here for 5 minutes or if you're here for 2 hours. It's just, that's the beauty. That's still the beauty of this. A lot of things have changed, you know, but that's still the beauty of this because we're real, you're real. I've got an opinion, you've got an ear. I've got an ear, you've got an opinion. That's what makes this thing so great. And I hope it really never goes away. You know, a lot of stuff going on, you know, with AI and doing different things different ways than we used to. But I think the one constant, the one treasure that we have every day is communication. And we can speak our mind. If you're mad, go ahead and get mad. If you're happy, laugh until you cry. If you're a little annoyed, tell us why. Maybe we can help. If you're having a great day, tell us why you're having a great day. If you're having a rough day, we're here to get you through it. I just wanted to get that out there. It just kind of like came over me. I said, I'm gonna keep going because I think this is what we're here for. This is what we're all about. And you're a huge part of it here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Best advice you have ever received. That is our fill in the blank Friday question today. And you can keep shooting those comments over, or you can ring us at 330-821-1310. It looks like Jose Ramirez is not going to be in the starting lineup tonight. Now, yesterday during the game, we told you there was a little, not a dust up, but a little, tempers got a little crazy yesterday. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. got hit with a pitch yesterday. Next inning, Jose gets hit by a pitch. Stephen Vogt screaming at the Toronto manager, John Schneider. Vladdy left the game yesterday. Jose left the game yesterday. We go on to lose 6-0. No runs, 2 hits, 4 errors. I can't get that box score out of my head. Okay. No runs, 2 hits, 4 errors. Gotcha. Physical errors, mental errors. They just looked like a tired, disinterested team yesterday. And then come to find out today, it looks like Jose is not going to start. And I guess according to Stephen Vogt, he could play, like he could come in and pinch hit or something if they need him down the stretch, but he is not going to be in the starting lineup tonight. And hopefully he will be okay. So what does that mean for tonight? Well, that means you got a Cardinals team coming in here, a 44-win team, playing pretty good ball. They got shut out by the Cubbies yesterday, so they'll be in a bad mood today. And we're going to go in there without our top guy. We're not going to have Jose Ramirez. So now it's Stephen Kwan against the St. Louis Cardinals tonight up in Cleveland. I mentioned that we're going to take a deep dive into some of the numbers, and I've got those. We're going to get into those after we take our break here. But you're going to be absolutely floored at some of the stats I'm going to run off as far as batting, home runs, RBI, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. It's going to blow your mind. And some of the batting averages of the players on this team that are getting every day at bats, it will blow your mind. And you're going to wonder, geez, how are we even a 500 team with some of the batting average that we've got right now? You're 40-39 right now. You're 9.5 out behind Detroit. I don't know how we've won 40 games. I've got a hunch why we've won 40 games. And I'll tell you about that, too, when we get back. We're going to take a break. 330-821-1310. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a Friday. How we doing, everybody? 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options, be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready-to-act.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
We're with Bridget.
whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hope your Friday is off to a great start. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show here on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM 1310 WDPN.com. Give us a follow on Twitter at AM 1310 WDPN. You can also follow me at Sam Bourquin 16. You can give me a look on TikTok as well at Sam Bourquin 16 on TikTok. You can check that out. Fill in the blank Friday. What's the best advice you have ever received? I guess I should make this technically because it's a fill in the blank Friday. The best advice you have ever received in your life was blank. There you go. That's how you fill in the blank on a fill in the blank Friday. All right. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk Guardians. Jose Ramirez, the leading batter at 317. Stephen Kwan is second at 306. Those are the only two players with a batting average of 300. Carlos Santana, 234. Gabriel Arias, 230. Home runs. Guess who? Jose Ramirez has 13. Kyle Manzardo has 12. Carlos Santana with 9 home runs. Bo Naylor with 9 home runs. RBI. Jose Ramirez, 38. Carlos Santana has 37. Kyle Manzardo has 32. Gabriel Arias has 29. Now I want to read you some scary stuff. Team batting average, 229, ranks 25th. Runs, 297, ranks 25th. Home runs, 79, ranks 22nd. On base percentage, 301, ranks 25th. Slugging percentage, 370, ranks 26th. And now, listen to some of these numbers. These, ladies and gentlemen, are actual batting averages of professional baseball players who play on the Cleveland Guardians right now, okay? And these are guys that, A, are either starting or playing almost every day or every other day. You wonder why you're a 500 team. I don't know how you're a 500 team. Angel Martinez is batting 237. Daniel Schneemann, 234. Gabby Arias, 230. Kyle Manzardo, 222. Nolan Jones, 211. Will Wilson, 176. Lane Thomas, 173. Bo Naylor, 171. When Brian Rocchio was up, he was batting 165. David Fry, now I understand limited duty, 37 at bats, 162. when John Kenzie Noel was here, 146. Austin Hedges, 108. Folks, Austin Hedges is a starting catcher for the Cleveland Guardians. Now, I know he doesn't play and get behind the plate as much as Bo Naylor, excuse me. I understand that. But he is batting 108. 7 hits in 65 at bats for the Hedge man. 7 for 65. Shouldn't be playing. Should not be playing. Period. Bo Naylor, 31 for 181. Again, that's a $171 average. The Nolan Jones experiment, he is 38 for 180 for a 211. Are these numbers like starting to make you sick? Kyle Manzardo, 51 for 230. Hitting that 222. Gabby Arias, 57 for 248 for that 230 batting average. Carlos Santana, 61 for 261 with that 234 average. Daniel Schneemann, 41 for 175 at 2. Folks, these are starting position players for a Major League Baseball team. I don't know if it's time to bring up DeLauder, Capus. I know Travis Bazzana is hurt and going to be out for a while. But guys that are batting in the ones, in low twos, should not be in the lineup. But there's nowhere else to go. That's what this team is. There's nothing else they can do. You can go down and bring some guys up and let them go, give them a chance, give them an opportunity. But you look up and down that entire roster, that is all you have. That's going to make it a rough watch the rest of the way. Guardians, Cardinals, game 1 of 3 tonight, 7 o'clock up in Cleveland, a little bit again after 7 o'clock. All right, we'll take a break. News and weather is on the way. Don't forget, it's a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. We'll take your calls, we'll read your text, and a whole lot more coming your way. 1310 WDPN and streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Several major decisions by the Supreme Court. One case allowing states to require age verification to access porn sites. Here's ABC's Devin Dwyer.
The court upheld a Texas online age verification law for adult websites, saying that it is permissible under the First Amendment for states to require individuals to upload a copy of their ID in order to see porn.
In another case, the Supreme Court siding with the Trump administration to limit a lower court's use of nationwide injunctions. The case over birthright citizenship can proceed to play out in the lower courts. President Trump says he's ending all trade talks with Canada. He says after learning Canada announced they're putting a digital service tax on U.S. tech companies. He also plans to bump up tariffs on Canada in a week. The defense has concluded closing arguments in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors will address jurors once again before the judge outlines jury instructions. This is ABC News.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code QUICK to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code QUICK for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code QUICK for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Program.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. This news a service of Cars Auto Repair. A woman who stole funds from her former employer in Canton will spend time behind bars. 47-year-old Patricia Stidd of Green pleaded guilty earlier this month to charges of aggravated theft, telecommunications fraud, and tampering with records. She was sentenced by Stark County Common Pleas Judge Frank Forcioni to 3 to 4.5 years in prison. Stidd was given credit for 5 days in jail. She stole $414,000 from PJ Fabricating while working as the manufacturer's finance controller. The activity occurred between January 2022 and February of this year. Stidd was ordered to pay restitution. A Canton man is headed to prison for the abuse of his 4-year-old stepdaughter. 24-year-old Austin Montgomery was sentenced Wednesday by Stark County Common Pleas Judge Chrissa Hartnett to 4.5 to 6.5 years behind bars. He pleaded guilty to 4 counts of endangering children. Canton police said the child was taken to Mercy Hospital, then to Akron Children's with multiple bruises May 1st. She also was severely underweight. The girl's mother, 26-year-old Brittany Morris of Canton, is serving 3 years in prison for her role in the abuse. She pleaded guilty earlier this month to 4 counts of child endangering. Court records state Morris has a history of ignoring child abuse in her home. The theft of 4 vehicles from a Jackson Township dealership is the subject of an ongoing investigation. Around 3 a.m. today, Township Police responded to an alarm at Jeff's Motor Cars in the 5700 block of Dressler Road Northwest. They discovered a vehicle had been used to drive through a showroom window. The vehicles taken include a BMW 760, BMW M2, BMW X5, and an Audi S4. One of the cars was recovered. Officers searched the building but found no suspects. Anyone with information about the incident is asked to call Jackson Township Police Detectives at 330-830-6264. Nimishillen Township trustees Thursday accepted 3 donations. WDPN's David Schur reports.
Prior to the donations, mowing was accomplished by a contract for the 3 firehouse lawns. Now fire crews will mow each of the 3 stations with 2 Cub Cadet and a Craftsman riding mower donated by the Mishna and Riggs family and an anonymous donor. Trustees also awarded a $388,985 contract with Barbicus Paving for the 2025 road paving projects.
2 people and a dog were rescued from a vehicle stuck in floodwaters in Brewster Thursday night. Fire officials say they responded to an overpass bridge at South Wabash Avenue around 6:30. The roadway had been closed due to high water. The vehicle stalled after the driver attempted to drive it through floodwaters. No one was hurt. The road reopened roughly 2 hours after the incident. A West Virginia man is guilty of all charges in an East Liverpool murder. A jury in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court deliberated for about 3 hours before convicting 35-year-old Elvin Tisdale of Newell of aggravated murder, and having weapons under disability today. Judge Megan Bickerton sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Tisdale was one of 2 men charged in the July 2021 shooting death of 20-year-old Bryson Douglas of East Liverpool. 25-year-old Alan Tisdale of Lisbon pleaded guilty last month to charges of involuntary manslaughter and complicity to a weapons charge. He is scheduled for sentencing July 21st. An appeal of an annexation case involving the city of Salem has been filed with the 7th District Court. City Council agreed to the appeal June 12th. The dispute between the city and Perry Township began in April 2023. Earlier this month, Columbiana County Common Pleas Judge Megan Bickerton determined the property on Beechwood Road in the township was not contiguous to the city. County commissioners last year denied the proposed annexation. Sean and Lori Butcher were informed by Salem they had to seek annexation. Not complying would mean having water and sewer service cut off due to a deed restriction requiring they annex if their land becomes contiguous with the city. The appeal was filed Tuesday. 2 people have learned their punishment for a break-in at a Sebring home. 21-year-old Desiree Suter of Sebring pleaded guilty Thursday to reduced counts of criminal damaging and attempted aggravated drug possession. She was sentenced by Mahoning County Judge Joe Schiavone to 270 days in jail, all of which was suspended. Suter was also given 2 years probation. 26-year-old Austin Marshall of Canton pleaded guilty to a reduced count of theft. He was sentenced to 180 days in jail. jail, with all but 10 suspended. Marshall also was sentenced to 1 year of probation. On June 6th, an officer was flagged down by caretakers of an Oregon Avenue home. They said 2 people were inside. Police found Suter, who said she was with Marshall to steal copper. He had fled the home. Marshall was arrested later. A woman convicted of her involvement in a fatal crash in Quaitsville Township is the subject of 2 new lawsuits. Gloria Dothard is named in the suits filed in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court. They were brought by 2 motorcyclists who were injured while participating in the Teddy Foltz Memorial Poker Run in June 2023. Each is seeking damages in excess of $25,000. One of them is Harold Haggerty, whose wife Patricia was seriously injured in the wreck. Dothard was charged with failure to yield. She pleaded guilty in August 2023 to a reduced count of having a broken taillight. Patricia Haggerty died after Dothard's conviction. Another event participant sued Harold Haggerty and Dothard last month. It's 79 degrees in Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News, brought to you by Cars Auto Repair. Cars with a K. I'm Jeff Mears.
Since 1996, Kale's Auto Repair Service, Cars with a K, has been the trusted auto repair shop in Alliance. With over 80 years of experience in Stark and Mahoning County, their team provides high-quality auto care and customer service. They offer a range of services from preventative maintenance to engine repair, AC service, and more. The shop features 10 bays, state-of-the-art diagnostic tools, and mechanics ready to get your car on the road again. They accept all makes and models, ensuring top-notch service for every vehicle. Open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m., and Friday from 8 to 11 a.m., Schedule your appointment today by calling 330-821-3100.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
For this afternoon, we're expecting a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny skies, a high of 88 degrees. Chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly late tonight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, low 71. Saturday, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high of 84. Sunday, mostly sunny, a high of 87. That's your WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Past a diving third baseman Schneeman and down the line. Barger in to score, Clement behind him. And now the ball bobbled out behind second. The throw gets away, and Straw's coming home. And now Manzardo throws it past Naylor.
With the 58th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Saliou Niang from Dakar, Senegal, and Italy's Trento Club.
Zach Pop takes over for Seattle, and Lee sends one in the air to right field and deep. Back it goes towards the dock, and that is gone. Nothing old school about that. A sinker to Lee's liking, and the Twins add on. It is now 3-0.
Go for 2 and a walk tonight.
It's a breaking ball and lines in. Base hit. Soto is in. Alonso right behind him. Jeff McNeil drives in a pair, and it's 4-0 New York.
It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Welcome in, everybody. AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live and all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. You can check us out on all of our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter or X, on the Q92 radio channel on YouTube. We're with you Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 p.m. Let's get together. Let's make a date every day, 3 until 6, right here on WDPN. Today is a fill in the blank Friday. Your question today: the best advice you have ever received in your life was blank. The best advice you received is blank. 330-821-1310. Text the show, 330-924-7088. What's the best advice you have ever received? There's a lot of great advice out there, but it's only great advice if you heed it, if you use it, if you act upon it. Tom Cackley says, life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you respond to it. Tom Cackley, appreciate it. He says, also trust God, clean house, and help others. Robin Eves says, never lend more than you can afford to not get back. That's pretty good. That's pretty good advice there. George says, treat others the way that you want to be treated. Jim says, don't burn bridges. That's pretty good too. The best advice that you have ever received in your life was blank. Let us know. 330-821-1310. All right, when we went to the top of the hour, we were talking about the Guardians, and I was giving you some numbers that explain why this team is 40-39. But after I read off some of those stats, and I'll circle back to those in a minute because I know we have a new group of people listening here at the top of the hour, and we do appreciate you stopping by, hang out with us here for a little bit. The Guardians right now are 40-39. They're 9.5 behind Detroit. They're 20-17 at home. They're 20-22 on the road, and they are 5-5 in their last 10. And you say, hey, man, 40-39, you're in second place in the division. You are, thoroughly in the mix for a wild card. What's the problem? Why all the panic? Why all the disgust? Well, I look at the 40 wins. I look at the division win. I look at the schedule that we have played. Now, keep in mind, we're in with Detroit, very good team. Minnesota, sub 500. Kansas City, sub 500. Chicago, awful. And then I look at the West, and I see the team dangling down there at the bottom, the Oakland A's. We got 3 wins off of them. We've got 3 wins off the White Sox. And I believe we've got 3 off the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are also having a terrible year. So just for the sake of discussion, take those away. Now you're a 31-win team. Oakland stinks. The White Sox stink. The Pirates stink. If you wouldn't have played those 9 games against those 3 teams, you probably wouldn't be over 500. Plug anybody else in there. Plug the Orioles in there. Plug the Royals in there a couple more times. Plug Texas in there. The Marlins. The Rockies. You wouldn't be a 500 team.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
We have Buck chiming in on the text line about that. He says, he's asking, is it time for the front office to take some major heat for the players they're drafting? Says, time to question their scouting, time to question their player development program. Said, one thing being cheap, those stats you just read on air is pathetic.
Thanks for chiming in, Buck.
Yep, we love Buck over here.
But yeah, I mean, so you're really you're really kind of masquerading as a 500 team. You really aren't a 500 team. And to me, the goal is not to be 500. The goal is to win what? A World Series. Haven't done it since 1948. Got there a couple times. Got there in 54, got swept. Got there in 95, lost to Atlanta. Got there in 97, lost to the Marlins. Got there in 16, lost to the Cubbies. What is it going to take for this franchise to want to play for the big one all the time? Not let's just stay competitive. Maybe we can stay close enough and make a run. If we don't, that's okay. We've got building blocks for the following year, the following 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years. That's the philosophy that they have. And they will say that philosophy is because of what? Because they're a what? Because they're a small market team. That's how they approach. That's how they spend. That's how they evaluate. That's how they scout. That's how they analyze. At what point are we going to say, screw it? Let's go for it. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But there is the fear in the organization, and the Cleveland Guardians organization that I speak of, is that if they go all in, it's going to set them back 4 or 5 years. Oh, if we sign this guy to a contract and it doesn't work out, we're hosed. If we sign these 3 free agents and we don't win a World Series, or it doesn't work out, or somebody gets hurt, we're done. Remember the year that they spent on, remember they acquired Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne? Remember they got him from the Atlanta Braves? And Swisher was like 4 years, $64 million. I think Michael Bourne was right around there. And it didn't really work out. Look, when they made that trade, we were like, ho, 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 they're spending, here we go. It didn't work out. Michael Bourne never lived up to what he was with Atlanta. Not hitting, not stealing, not defense, not anything. And Nick Swisher turned out to be a bum. So guess what happened? They're afraid to pull the trigger. They were like, nope, that was it. We did it. And look what happened. We're never going to spend that kind of money again. That was a long time ago, folks, and they pretty much stayed true to that. I mean, what, Edward Encarnacion, they signed to a big deal for them. A couple of other contracts they've picked up. Big as far as the Guardians were concerned. But I really think that they think once they get burned, they're just not going to go down that road again. And I just wonder what the philosophy of the front office, and I'm talking ownership down to the general manager, the president, the general manager. I wonder if that's just going to completely and always stay the way that it is. I know for a fact when Tito was here, he was disgruntled. time after time after time after time of the philosophy and the approach in the lack of spending that the Guardians organization took. I know he was banging his head against his scooter because he knew if they would just go that extra mile, 1 year to the next, just pop that payroll by another 20, 25 million a year. Or go get one of those game changers at the trade deadline, that maybe they would have had a World Series. Maybe they would have had a couple. But that's not the way they do it. And they're okay with running guys out there that are batting 162, that are batting 108, that are batting 171, 173, 211, 222, 230. Who in the hell in Major League Baseball runs a lineup out there like that consistently almost every game? And the only teams that come to mind who are playing people like that are trying to lose. The Rockies, the White Sox, the A's, the Pirates. They're not trying to win. I don't know what those four franchises are trying to do, to be honest with you. I really don't. John Fisher might be the worst owner in baseball. Bob Nutting might be the second worst owner in baseball. I don't know what the White Sox are doing. I have no idea. But those teams aren't trying to win. They don't care about running guys out there that are batting 222 or 175 or pitchers that have an ERA of 5 or 6. They don't care. It's not the end game for them. But for the Guardians, man, you're a 500 team, and you're doing it with smoke and mirrors, and you're doing it with stealing 9 wins from 3 of the worst teams in baseball. So in my mind, you're really not a 500 team. You're not. Your stats show me that you're not a 500 team. And if it wasn't for the pitching, which I understand it, that's one of the big philosophies for the Guardians organization, it's the pitching. They're always going to be in it. And they've always got a guy or two down below that they can bring up. Okay? You know, you can go down there and you can throw Kate Smith out there. Colby Allard. Hunter Gaddis. Nick Enright. It's a shame what happened to Ben Lively and some of our other guys. But that's how they do it. But as I mentioned, closer and closer and closer we get to the trade deadline, and you start hearing the name Stephen Kwan, it's going to make you wonder, what are they really trying to accomplish? We're going to take a break. 4:25 here on the Sam Bourquin Show. 330-821-1310. It's a fill-in-the-blank Friday. Stay with us.
At Hunter Lift in North Lima, we're looking forward to seeing those graduation caps flying high. Start thinking about what to accomplish next. Now is the time to build your future and seize the day. The sky's the limit. The future is filled with opportunities to learn, to grow, and fulfill your dreams. This message from Hunter Lift on South Avenue in North Lima. Specialists in below-the-hook lifting devices and material handling solutions. Call 330-549-3347.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suit? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric, baby, when I turn it on. Off from my city.
AM 1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show on a fill-in-the-blank Friday. We're getting to the bottom of the hour here in just a couple of seconds to get you your news and weather. I understand we got a quick comment over there on our fill-in-the-blank Friday.
Yes, we do, Sam. Miriam says, best advice I ever received, the mother of the groom wears a brown dress and keeps her mouth shut. So,
Miriam fired off on a fill-in-the-blank Friday. I love it. Phones are open, 838-221-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. We got an hour and a half in and one more big hour and a half to go. Hang out with us here on a Friday afternoon. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. There are new questions about birthright citizenship after today's Supreme Court ruling that district courts don't have the power to block the president's actions nationwide. That means that President Trump's executive order, which declared that the children of parents who enter the U.S. illegally or on temporary visas are not entitled to automatic citizenship, stands for now. Trump celebrated the ruling at the White House this afternoon.
There are people elated all over the country. I've seen such happiness and spirit. Sometimes you don't see that, but this case is very important. I was elected on a historic mandate.
The Supreme Court did not rule specifically on the merits of birthright citizenship, which is in the Constitution. The plaintiffs in the birthright citizenship case filed an amended complaint seeking class action relief in response to the Supreme Court ruling. The Texas Attorney General is praising a Supreme Court decision upholding a state law aimed at blocking children from seeing pornography online. Attorney General Ken Paxton said today, companies have no right to expose children to pornography and must institute reasonable age verification measures. Nearly half the states have passed similar age verification laws, as smartphones and other devices make it easier to access online porn. The Free Speech Coalition says the Texas law puts an unfair burden on adults by requiring them to submit personal information that could be vulnerable to hacking. District courts initially blocked laws in Indiana, Tennessee, and Texas, but appeals courts let the laws take effect. A new blow to the Republican-led push in Washington to cut costs in President Trump's big, beautiful bill as it moves through the Senate. ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill has the latest on the Senate parliamentarian rejecting changes to Medicaid.
A Senate parliamentarian just yesterday struck out significant provisions of this bill that relate to Medicaid, particularly Medicaid coverage for undocumented immigrants, and a part of this bill that wanted to punish states that extended Medicaid to those individuals, and something that's called the provider tax credit, which opponents of the way that it's currently worked in the bill say that the way it currently goes about, it would have a serious blow rather on rural hospitals and others in the health insurance community.
A defense lawyer says in his closing argument that the government badly exaggerated its evidence against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, turning the swinger lifestyle, drugs, and threesomes into a racketeering conspiracy. The lawyer was expected to spend several hours today attempting to convince a New York jury to exonerate his 55-year-old client of charges including sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. A prosecutor Thursday had labeled Combs as a serial sex trafficker who manipulated his girlfriends over a 20-year period to participate in sexual performances with male escorts that Combs filmed. It's 82 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Your Friday afternoon weather forecast calling for a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 88. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms late, mostly cloudy with a low near 71. Saturday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny with a high near 84, chance of rain 50%. Sunday, mostly sunny skies, a high near 87. That's your WDPN weather.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can cause a life-threatening reaction. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready-to-act.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
You and I go hard at each other like we're going to war. You and I go rough, we keep throwing things and slamming the doors. You and I get so damn dysfunctional, we start keeping score. You and I get sick.
1310 WDPN, it is the Sam Bourquin Show. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Phones are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Don't forget, like, share, follow, comment on all of our social media platforms, AM 1310 WDPN on Facebook, on Twitter, and, of course, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. Today's edition, the best advice you have ever received in life was blank. Best advice you received in your life was blank. What's the best advice you've ever received? We get some good comments coming in. We'll go back to the comment board here in just a few minutes. Did you see? We were talking about this about an hour ago, back in the sales area. Apparently, there was a little situation at a car dealership where thieves broke in and drove away with 3 BMWs and an Audi from a Jackson Township car dealership. We were talking about this an hour ago. And we're all sitting around thinking, okay, remember back in the day, and I don't know if they still do this now at the car dealerships. I mean, my dad was in the car business for, 35, 40 years. Used to go down and see him at work all the time. And if people would come in and they would want to test drive a car, or you were coming in to actually pick up a car that you purchased, or they were going to switch cars around, they were going to move some off the lot, bring them inside, take some in the lobby maybe, and put them outside. Where did they always? They always had the keys hung up on like a rack, and you could just see employee A, employee B, whatever. They'd go over. They go, okay, here they are. Here's the 2015 so and so, and they'd take the keys off the hook, and they'd either give them to you or they would give them to somebody else for a test drive or whatever. I don't know if they still do that now with the car dealerships or not. But what in the heck? These thieves made off with 4 cars, 3 Beamers and an Audi. And I don't know all the particulars of it. But, I mean, is that going to change the way that the car dealerships now have to go, have to work, have to handle things? Now, I don't know how this happened. I don't know if did they like drive into the dealership? Did they crash through a window? Or did they just walk in and maybe found where the keys were on the hook and took them and left and found the cars in the lot and away they went? I just, something is not right here with this story. I don't know if our guy Jeff Mears is on this or not, but I'm just a little perplexed about that whole thing.
Well, I know with modern cars not having actual like key ignitions and key fobs and stuff, I know there was a big thing going on with like Kias and one other foreign car brand, but Kias were like so easy to steal that people were just doing it for fun. Like 15-year-olds were having whole gangs stealing Kias because you could just pop off the ignition and put a flash drive in it and start the car.
I remember hearing about that.
So yeah, cars get smarter. Somehow they get easier to steal, which is interesting.
Yeah. Does that really?
That's kind of backwards.
Yeah. Does that really like make any sense? I mean, look at where we are technology wise in life, and look at our phones, look at our TVs, look at our automobiles, look at everything. And it's like the more advanced we get, it's like, hello, the door is still open for nonsense to happen. I mean, I can't wait to hear some of the details on this story. If anybody knows anything, text, call in, whatever. I mean, don't call in here with crazy bum bad information. But if you got something, text it or send it over. I would love to know the meat and potatoes of that thievery job at that car dealership. How in the world do thieves walk in? And they would have had to, if keys were involved, 4 different sets of keys, hit the lot and just drive off the lot and go.
Well,
and how are these people still out driving around?
And if you think about it, I bet you could probably just get a blank key fob for a BMW and have it registered to that car, and then you don't even need to steal the keys from inside. You just bring your own custom-made keys. Like if you've seen Gone in 60 Seconds, that was a thing 20 years ago.
See, now you've got me thinking that this
was actually a lot easier than you thought it was, huh?
Well, no, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to do now. What's going through my head is, could this have possibly be an inside job?
I would think so. If it were that specific scenario.
I mean, I'm just trying to think here, and I'm not naming I'm not going to name the dealership. But I wonder. I mean, you never know. I mean, the car that I got, my wife and I just got new cars. She got hers. What is this? 2025. She got hers late 22, early 23. and I got mine late 24, and I'm trying to think. We both have one of those things you were talking about them, fobs or whatever.
Oh yeah, key.
Like
just
we
little
don't,
key
we don't,
fobs.
yeah, we don't.
There's no
we don't
keys
actually
anymore.
put a key in an ignition. And I mean, there's times, I'll stop at a store, a convenience store, go in and get a drink, or grab a rolling cash 5 ticket for the night, and I'll just leave the key in the car. You know what I mean? And now, so what happens? God forbid, I leave the key in the car. I go into the store. My doors are open, and somebody just gets in and tries to go. Are they going to be able to go?
Yeah, if the key fob's in there, yeah, that's the only thing that requires the car to start. Yeah.
Now, what if I've got the fob with me when I go into the store?
So
and they try to go.
Depending on the vehicle, it shouldn't start. I think you need to be within like a couple of feet.
Oh no, it's already running.
Oh. Well, how far can you get away from it with it running?
I don't know.
Oh.
Like, will the car just shut down?
I would assume. I don't know. I've never tested that one because I also have a key fob, and yeah, I've never gotten farther than like the pump gas. So I don't know. I don't leave it running when I'm pumping gas. So
no, I don't either.
Yeah, all I know is that if I leave the key in there and close the door, the car beeps at me because I'm not supposed to leave the key in there.
See, mine will go beep.
Yeah,
the horn will honk. Boop,
yep.
Boop, boop.
Yeah, no, it scares the crap out of me.
So, I mean, I probably shouldn't do that, but there's just times where I just don't want to. I hate constantly turning the car on and off. I have this mental thing built up in my head that it's not good for the car. And it probably has nothing to do with it. And I just want to, I'm going to go in and I'm going to be out. I'm going to be in and out in 45 seconds, tops. Go in and grab a bottle of water, a Polar Pop, whatever it is. And I'm going to be right back in the car. So I'm like, I'm not turning it off again.
Well,
and I always wondered, man, I hope nobody's out there screwing around while I'm in here trying to get a drink,
Hey, a friend of mine swears by it that turning the car off and starting it again uses more gas than just leaving it running for a few minutes.
Exactly.
So, and he will die on that hill. So, I can't argue with you.
Well, here's another thing: the car that I have, and I love it. A lot of these cars now, if you're like in the city or you are coming up on stoplights a lot, like it'll shut it off.
Yes.
And then when you go to hit the gas, it'll start up again.
Yep.
And they say that it's actually saving you gas.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that to be true because you are turning the car off and you are starting it again.
Yeah, I don't
and
care
you're using more gas.
What fancy stuff you're doing with the engine. The engine is turning off and back on again. So.
Exactly. Now, I have a one of the toys on my car. Since I don't like that feature, I shut it off.
Oh, I don't have that.
Yeah,
Can't turn that off.
I can tell it no.
I wish I could tell my car not to do that.
I just
hate that.
I don't understand that whole thing at all.
No, because I'll pull into park and I'll stop for a fraction of a second just to shift, and it'll shut the engine off.
Right.
And then the moment I start shifting, it turns the engine right back on, and it's like that cannot be good for the car.
No, it
just
isn't.
turned the engine on and off 3 times in 10 seconds.
It isn't.
No, it's
I
madness.
take that feature and I say, no, you're done. And I boom, like Madden, boom. I pop that button and it's done.
Oh,
that's it.
I wish.
Anybody try to steal my car? I'm telling you. But I just can't get that. I don't understand this thing at this car dealership. Oh, that had to be an inside job. 4 cars? Ooh, 3 Beamers and an Audi. And I know they're all brand new. Off the lot. Just like that. Unbelievable. What do you think, Mears? What's going on there? Something screwy?
No, I was gonna.
Well, go ahead.
Pardon me.
Come on in. Happy Friday.
If you want to talk about interesting situations with stolen vehicles.
Uh-oh.
Now, I had a couple of encounters with the Kia boys. You're familiar with them? The kids going around, was a TikTok challenge stealing Kia.
Rainsburg was just talking about that.
Yeah. Well, I experienced that. I had a Kia Rio. 3 years ago at the height of this nonsense. Come out for work one day. Or my wife goes out for work and I'm seeing her off because she worked early at the time. And I look out there kind of across toward the neighbor's house from the corner, and I see her car. And then you know that moment you have when something out of the corner of your eye draws your attention somewhere else?
Yeah.
Something did that, and I looked to behind her car where my car should be parked, and it wasn't there. I just saw a little bit of broken glass on the pavement, and I said, "What is this?" So the car's nowhere in sight, so I had to file a report. Yeah, and they found the car about a day and a half later, somewhere around Canton.
No kidding.
And then it was out of action for 3 months while they waited for the repair shop to get parts, because everybody's getting hit up for this thing. Got to go get in your steering columns. And thankfully, my car didn't get wrecked. After that experience, I honestly wished it had been.
It would have been, yeah.
It might have had a car to drive a little bit sooner.
The Kia Boys.
Yes.
That's what they were called.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a TikTok thing that was going around for a while. That was some of what was driving it. Yeah.
And so whatever happened? The Kia Boys just went away? Or the challenge went away?
I think the challenge, they found other things to do.
Who thinks of these challenges? I mean, seriously. Yeah. And first of all, who's dumb enough to go out and try to execute the challenge?
Well, I think it died because they the Kia obviously realized that their cars were basically the easiest cars to steal on the planet, and they immediately put a patch out to keep that from happening. So it was literally a software patch. Yeah,
of course.
Unless you had a really old one, it was just a software patch to get it fixed and make it stop.
I was going to share another one.
I was going to say, go ahead, because now my mind is starting to go down the rabbit hole of stupid TikTok challenges.
Remember the Tide Pod thing?
The Tide Pod thing?
Yeah.
And
the cinnamon challenge, that was another one?
What was that one?
It was somebody would take a giant tablespoon of cinnamon and just try to eat it, and you would see these kids. It was almost like they choked on it. I mean, it was pretty bad.
The cinnamon challenge.
If you ever tried to have too much cinnamon at one time, it's not a good experience. I'm not saying I tried it. It's just like I could kind of tell.
Okay.
You have enough of anything, it's too much.
Now I've heard of the remember the one chip challenge. That was the world's hottest chip.
Mm.
And I wouldn't do that. People literally, oh, come on, you chicken. Come on, Sammy B. No. Not doing that.
I've had a brother-in-law who's been known to goad me into trying to do that sort of stuff. And he's managed to talk me into it once in a while. Not that specific thing.
Wow.
But hot sauces and stuff. And most of the time I can handle it.
Wow.
Can I just say Dave's Insanity Sauce? There's a reason it's called that.
Ghost pepper and Reaper and all this crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm hot sauce spice guy too. But there's a point in time where I put up the hand and say, we're done here. We're not going up to the next level. Like any of the wing places in town, whether it's a mom and pop or it's a corporate, and they've got you go up the ladder of the heat or what do they call them? The Scovilles or whatever. How hot that the sauce is going to be. And at the top, you have to sign your life away in case something bad happens that they're not liable. I've never yet done.
No, I've never tried
the top of any of those.
I've tried a few that were in the top 5.
As far as heat, I can only go. I'll go about 70% up the chart, maybe 75, and that's about it. I'm not trying to scald my face. I'm just not. I'm not into that. But go ahead. You had another story.
So this was kind of amusing, but again, probably only because it wasn't my car. It was a coworker before I came to the Canton area. I think I've told you I worked in the Columbus area for a while. Was down there for about 5 years.
Okay, in the city or
not in the city, but just outside, about a half hour east there. But I had several of my coworkers lived in Columbus or in one of the suburbs. I had a friend that lived right on the border of Gahanna and Whitehall, which doesn't matter if you don't.
Oh, I know.
Columbus.
I know.
But basically the east side of Columbus.
Yeah, exactly. Know where you're at.
Well, I don't know that he lived in a necessarily a rough neighborhood or anything. Not that I'm aware of.
Sure.
But anyway, he goes out one day to start his car to come to work, and he worked afternoons, I think, at the time, on air at the station I was at, and he forgets something inside, leaves the car running, goes back in, and at least the way he told the story wasn't gone for any particular, a lengthy amount of time, just maybe 30 seconds, something like that. And it was as if somebody had just been watching him. And as soon as he that door closed behind him to go into the house. They jumped into action, grabbed the car, and took off because he comes out and it's gone. The funny bit about the story, that is not funny. No, I get it. You know, I can tell you that right now because it wasn't funny when the Kia boys, came to town.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly.
So anyway, the funny thing about it for me was, and he saw the humor in this, I suppose, was that the station that we were working for at the time, we were going to do a kind of a promotional thing with the local theater in town, the Midland Theater in Newark.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had relatives in Newark.
So
they lived on Shaw Avenue. If anybody knows where that is, go ahead.
So they were doing this thing. They had the Midland Theater is one of these historic places, kind of like here in Canton, with the Palace Theater. It had been restored. It had just opened while I was working here, and they were doing a special showing of The Sound of Music, and they were going to have like he was going to be kind of emceeing the event, and they were going to have a sing along part of the show with some of the music.
Okay.
And they were going to be passing out some little items to participate in it, like then one of them, those little party poppers that you would get, those things, and I forget what else. Well, anyway, he had a bag of these that he was going to be taking to the show because it was coming up maybe the next day or I don't know exactly, but fairly close by. So he had them in the back seat of his car. Whoever it was took off with his car. These are sitting in the back. Well, somebody realized they were there and said, "Hey, why not have some fun while you're here?" So they popped all the party poppers and left him in the car. And when he finally got the car back from Columbus police, he sees all these party poppers that have been used. And he says, "Yeah, these guys are driving around with my stolen car." And it's, "Hey, we're living large, y'all, popping party poppers."
Yeah. Dude. Yeah, great fun there. Unbelievable.
But they left all the other stuff.
That's amazing. You're talking about the Kia boys and gangs and challenges and people stealing. And I have noticed myself, I would say the last 5 to 7 years, when I go somewhere and I park my car, whether it's a grocery store, the mall, which I don't go to the mall often, but when I do, even a place like the movie theater, Cinemark, whatever. And I come out, and after about 15 seconds, I break into a cold sweat and panic because I can't remember where I parked my car. And then there are a couple times I have sworn, like I would swear to the man above, somebody took my car. And I'm like on my way to security, almost walking at a brisk pace, reporting my car stolen. And then all of a sudden something clicks and hits me. Oh yeah, I'm on the other side of the building. Or I'll take my, you can hit the thing on your fob and the it'll start, the horn will come on and it'll let you know, your lights will go and it'll tell you where your car's at. I'm like, oh really? I'm three quarters of a mile down the street. That's where I parked. But I always thought, what would I do if my car was stolen? What would I do? I would try to remember, what did I have in my car? Did I have valuables in the car?
Right.
Was there another, did I leave my phone in the car? Did I leave my wallet in the car? Did I leave stuff in the back seat or stuff above the visor or, just stuff with personal information on it? And then I just freak out and I go, okay, calm down. Oh, I'm not even in the right parking lot. I mean, it's just, what is the matter with me? And it's starting to happen a lot more often, which is kind of scary. But the moment that you realize or you think that your car has been stolen, it's very scary because you're helpless.
Yeah.
You're helpless, especially if you left your phone in the car. It's like, gee, who am I going to call? Am I going to go to a payphone? No. And you got to look for security and you got to go through all that mumbo jumbo. But yeah, word to the wise, be careful, be alert, be aware, and remember where you park your damn car. It can't be that hard to remember, but it is for me.
What did we do before we had those little fobs?
I know.
To keep hitting it until you hear the horn.
Well, I remember I used to have 4 or 5 sets of keys. And I'd have them hung up at home. And if I lost it, oh well, go get another one. Hey, pick me up, take me back home. I got to get my other set of keys. Well, where's the other one? I don't know. Does somebody have them? I don't know. Well, if they do, they could probably steal your car. Yeah, I know. That's just the way it went. It's the way it went. Mears, well, before we let you go, what do you got coming up this weekend? Anything good?
Yeah, just normal stuff.
Normal, quiet.
The less
spur of the moment Mears.
That's what it's going to be. And there's enough scheduling going on during the weekdays, especially around this joint.
This joint.
So just the fewer plans, the better.
Wow, and you stick to that regimen. You are.
I try.
I can't even get this guy off his game over here. I try to throw him a little curveball here and there. Nope, he is. You know what? We'll take it 1 minute at a time.
Yeah, you will be the first to know when we have something planned.
Right.
You will have an you will have an invitation.
Okay.
You and Rainsburg both.
I'm just checking. So no going out to eat, no movie, no
maybe
catching a festival or
sit home watch TCM. At some point probably. I got something we started watching, we haven't finished yet, so there's that.
Hey, I meant to ask, when's the I know because we got the Hall of Fame coming up here relatively soon, and all those festivities and the balloons and parades and this and that and the other. When's the Carnation Festival? When does that take place?
Coming up in August, right? So I don't have that right here in front of me.
Okay,
but yeah, normally
sure when it was.
I'd have to. Yeah, that's normally it's kind of bookends some of the Hall of Fame events. It's kind of interesting how that works out, depending on what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to keep that in mind. All right, my friend, back to the newsroom you go.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate the visit. All right, we got about a minute and a half before we get to the top of the hour. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can text the program anytime you wish at 330-924-7088. Guardians Cards tonight. Cavaliers at 49 last night. Miles Proctor, they drafted out of Duke. And it looks like they're going to sign him right away to a nice little multi-year contract. That's how much they think of this guy. And good for him. He was the forgotten Blue Devil. Cooper Flagg, Colin Knippel. Nobody was talking about Miles Proctor. And here he is. And if you're into looking at, 30, 40-second clips, highlight films and stuff like that, check him out. I know how those clips work. They show the best that you can do, and they don't show your weaknesses. That's just how that works. But he's got a pretty cool little highlight film. And actually, next hour we're going to hear the actual conversation between Kobe Altman and Miles Proctor and Kenny Atkinson, courtesy Cavs on X. We're going to hear that conversation coming up here on the other side of the news and weather. We got the On This Day in Sports History coming your way. And a funny thing happened at the Phillies game last night involving broadcaster John Kruk that you've got to hear to believe. Pretty good stuff. We'll take a break. The Sam Bourquin Show rolls on after the news. AM 1310 WDPN.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A July 4th deadline to pass the Republicans' sweeping budget bill is in jeopardy after the Senate chief rulemaker rejected a key provision. GOP House Speaker Mike Johnson held talks today with Senate leaders.
We had a great discussion about a lot of important issues, and I feel like we're getting very close to a final product.
President Trump telling lawmakers to scrap vacation plans until it's passed in the Senate. The president also says he's ending talks with Canada. He says over Canada's decision to issue a digital tax on U.S. tech companies. A case looking to restrict birthright citizenship that was put on hold by a lower court judge can proceed. The Supreme Court today issuing that decision that limits a judge's ability to impose nationwide injunctions. The plaintiffs in the case are filing a new lawsuit on the merits of the case. Severe heat this week easing, but leading to volatile storms. Flight cancellations starting to stack up on East Coast majors, airports, including in Washington, D.C. and New York. Nearly 500 flights canceled just today. This is ABC News.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on home and auto insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check your house sitter has the new code first before leaving for vacation.
System lockout.
But that's the code!
Contacting authorities.
Oh, I'm out of here.
Oh, seriously, the car too?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a home and auto bundle that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. The former finance controller for a Canton manufacturer faces 3 to 4.5 years in prison. Stark County Common Pleas Judge Frank Forcioni issued the sentence to 47-year-old Patricia Stidd of Green. She pleaded guilty earlier this month to charges of aggravated theft, telecommunications fraud, and tampering with records. Stidd stole $414,000 from PJ Fabricating between January 2022 and February of this year. She was ordered to pay restitution. Stidd was given credit for 5 days in jail. 4.5 to 6.5 years in prison is the sentence handed down to a Canton man for involvement in a child abuse case. 24-year-old Austin Montgomery pleaded guilty Wednesday to 4 counts of endangering children in Stark County Common Pleas Court and was sentenced by Judge Chrissa Hartnett. Canton police said his 4-year-old stepdaughter was taken to Mercy Hospital, then to Akron Children's with multiple bruises May 1st. She also was severely underweight. The mother, 26-year-old Brittany Morris of Canton, pleaded guilty earlier this month to the same charges. Court records state she has a history of ignoring child abuse in her home. Morris was sentenced to 3 years behind bars. Jackson Township Police are investigating after someone stole 4 vehicles from a dealership overnight. Officers responded to an alarm at Jeff's Motor Cars in the 5700 block of Dressler Road Northwest around 3 a.m. Police say a vehicle had been used to drive through a showroom window. Officers cleared the building without finding any suspects inside. The vehicles taken included a BMW 760, BMW M2, BMW X5, and an Audi S4. One of the cars has been recovered. Anyone with information about the incident is asked to call Jackson Township Police Detectives at 330-830-6264. A sentence was handed down Monday for a man who pleaded guilty to raping a young girl. Stark County Common Pleas Judge Frank Forcioni sentenced 25-year-old Matthew Gibbs of Canton to 8 to 12 years in prison. A trial on the rape charge was to begin July 22nd. A 2023 conviction and 10 to 15-year prison sentence on the same charge was overturned. An appeals court ruled Forcioni erred in not giving the jury instructions requested by a public defender. A sexual conduct conviction was upheld. The activity involved a 13-year-old girl and occurred in June 2021. Brewster fire officials say no one was injured when a vehicle was stuck in floodwaters Thursday night. Around 6:30, firefighters were called to an overpass bridge at South Wabash Avenue, where they rescued 2 people and a dog trapped in a car. The vehicle had stalled after the driver attempted to drive it through high water. The roadway had been closed due to flooding. It reopened about 2 hours after the incident. Life in prison without the possibility of parole. That's the sentence issued to 35-year-old Elvin Tisdale for a murder in East Liverpool. The Newell, West Virginia man was found guilty today of aggravated murder, and having weapons under disability. Jurors in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court deliberated for about 3 hours before handing down their verdict. Tisdale was sentenced by Judge Megan Bickerton. The charges stemmed from the shooting death of 20-year-old Bryson Douglas of East Liverpool. 25-year-old Alan Tisdale of Lisbon is scheduled for sentencing July 21st. He pleaded guilty last month to involuntary manslaughter and complicity for a weapons charge. The city of Salem is appealing a recent court ruling that upheld the denial of a proposed annexation of property in Perry Township. The filing was made Tuesday with the 7th District Court. Columbiana County Common Pleas Judge Megan Bickerton ruled earlier this month that the property on Beechwood Road was not contiguous to the city. Her decision affirmed the county commissioner's rejection of the annexation last year. The dispute between the city and township began in April 2023. Sean and Lori Butcher were notified by Salem that they had to seek annexation or have water and sewer service shut off due to a deed restriction requiring they annex should their land become contiguous with the city. Salem City Council agreed to the appeal June 12th. A Mahoning County judge has issued punishment to a man and woman for their roles in a break-in Sebring. On Thursday, Judge Joe Schiavone sentenced 26-year-old Austin Marshall of Canton to 180 days in jail. All but 10 were suspended. Marshall also was sentenced to 1 year of probation. He pleaded guilty to a reduced count of theft. 21-year-old Desiree Suter of Sebring was sentenced to 270 days in jail, all of which was suspended. She also was given 2 years probation. Suter pleaded guilty Thursday to reduced counts of criminal damaging and attempted aggravated drug possession. On June 6th, caretakers of an Oregon Avenue home told a passing officer there were 2 people inside. Police found Suter, who said she and Marshall were there to steal copper. He had fled but was later arrested. 2 new lawsuits have been filed in connection with a June 2023 crash that killed a woman in Coatesville Township. The suits filed this week in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court named Gloria Dothard. She was charged with failure to yield, but pleaded guilty in August 2023 to a reduced count of having a broken taillight. Patricia Haggerty was seriously injured in the wreck, which occurred during the Teddy Fultz Memorial Poker Run. She died after Dothard's conviction. The suits were filed by 2 motorcyclists who participated in the event and were injured in the crash. One of them is Haggerty's husband. Both are seeking damages in excess of $25,000. Harold Haggerty and Dothard were also named in a suit filed by another participant last month. Arraignment is scheduled July 7th for a Guatemalan national being held in the Mahoning County Jail. 42-year-old Francisco Gonzalez Lopez faces a federal charge of illegal re-entry into the U.S. The Mahoning County Jail has a contract with the Department of Homeland Security to hold illegal immigrants. Gonzalez Lopez was deported in November 2017. He had been ordered removed by an immigration judge in March 2010. Gonzalez Lopez allegedly re-entered the U.S. in October 2022. The former site of the Youngstown South High School Fieldhouse and Stadium is the focus of a construction project. The property was purchased this month by Valley Christian School. WFMJ-TV reports the school plans to demolish the stadium bleachers and build a new athletic stadium. Demolition of the bleachers is taking place this week. The new stadium is expected to open in the fall of 2026 with a capacity of 1,500 to 3,000. The city paid for demolition of the former field house. The school hopes to move its high school to the former South High building on Market Street. The school has scaled back the original project from $9 million to $3 to $5 million. An investigation continues at the scene of an explosion at a home in Richland County. One of the residents, 72-year-old Dan Atwell, suffered burns over 30% of his body and was taken to a Columbus hospital following the Wednesday morning incident. His 77-year-old wife, Irene, was able to escape uninjured. Madison Township Fire Chief Ken Justice said the man was trying to get a leaking cylinder out of the garage when the explosion occurred. A gas cylinder was found 250 feet away in a neighbor's front yard. 3 to 4 100-pound propane cylinders were found inside the garage. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and the State Fire Marshal's Office are investigating. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 43,819, up 432 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 106 points higher at 20,273, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,173, up 32 points. It's 81 degrees and Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Your weather forecast calling this afternoon for a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 88 degrees. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms late, mostly cloudy, a low 71. Saturday, another 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 84. For Sunday, mostly sunny skies, a high near 87. That's your WDPN weather.
The proud and honorable men and women of our military are still overseas, sacrificing their lives and their families' emotions for another country's freedom. Please pray for the courageous troops of our military. This salute, courtesy of Mark's Automotive in Clinton, where they're serving our community with excellence. For employment opportunities, call Mark's Automotive at 330-882-8077. That's 330-882-8077. They're hiring ASE certified mechanics immediately. That's Mark's Automotive on the air, saluting our troops.
It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show, hour number 3, right here on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com.
Emphasis on the fill, right,
That's
Sam?
right. You like what I did there? You see what we did there? Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310 is our our telephone number. You can also text the show at 330-924-7088. Hello and welcome to all of you that are watching and listening on the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Good to see you. Good to have you with us. And, of course, we always invite you to check us out on the 1310 WDPN Twitter page, X page, Facebook page as well. All right. Happy Friday. The weekend is here. Another couple of pop-up storms today. Right now, it's beautiful sunshine. A little muggy out there, but that's going to be the way that we go here for the next several days. It is a fill in the blank Friday, as we mentioned at the outset of coming on here in the 5 o'clock hour. Today's fill in the blank. The best advice you have ever received in your life is blank. Best advice you've ever received was blank. Let us know. Social media, check us out, comment. You can also call in 330-821-1310. The Cleveland Guardians, which we discussed in the 3 o'clock hour today, took a little deep dive into the numbers. They've got the Cardinals coming in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Game 1 tonight up at Progressive Field. Cleveland Cavaliers, the 49th pick last night, took Tyrese Proctor. The 58th pick, Seo Niang. He was actually in the building last night. He actually went up to the podium after Mr. Smiles, Mark Tatum, announced his name last night at the Barclays Center. So the NBA draft is in the books now. Cavs got a couple of players. Niang's probably going to be one of those draft and stash guys. Give him some time to get stronger, build his body up, get his conditioning up, work on his, he'll be one of those players. But I'm telling you, this Tyrese Proctor they grabbed at 49, they're talking about a multi-year contract with him, and he could be a guy. I'm not going to say he's going to be in the, not going to start. I don't think he's going to be like the third or fourth guy off the bench. But you might be surprised. He may pick up some pretty good minutes this year for Kenny Atkinson and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wanted to play this for you. This is courtesy of Cavs.com. The moment when Kobe called Tyrese Proctor on the phone and welcomed him to Cleveland, and then he handed the phone over to Kenny Atkinson, who talked to his new guy, and then they gave it back to Kobe, and they wrapped up the phone call. But I want to play that here for you. It's pretty cool. This is courtesy of Cavs.com on X.
Tyrese.
What's up, man?
What's going on? Kobe Alba from the Cavaliers. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Congratulations, man. We're excited to have you.
I appreciate it. Can't wait to get to work.
Where are you now?
I'm in LA with my family.
Okay, well, we can't wait to get you to Cleveland. I have Coach Kenny Atkinson here. He wants to say hello.
Tyrese,
man, congrats.
Appreciate it.
Man,
Appreciate it, Coach.
Celebrate it, man. It's incredible. We can't wait to get you here and start working. But celebrate this. Enjoy tonight. Can't wait to see you.
For sure. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, Coach. We'll be in touch with you, man. We'll get you to Cleveland as soon as possible. All right.
All right. Say less.
All right, man.
See you guys.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See you.
Bye.
There you go. That was the conversation last night with Kobe and Kenny. And, of course, Tyrese Proctor, the 49th player selected in the draft last night in the second round. Out of Duke, just about 41% from 3 points. Played 3 years at Duke. All right, so he's got some experience, a lot of games played, a lot of big games played, ACC and ACC tournament and the college tournament, March Madness. Kid can play. About 6'4". About 6'4". Now, he probably needs to bulk up a little bit, and he will. When guys go from college to the pro, they eat better? They're supposed to. Eat better, lift smarter, condition smarter. I think this kid, I don't want to be hey, he's a steal. That's the one. But he could be a player. Keep your eyes on him when camp rolls around. Now, Niang, he's going to be a draft and stash guy. He's actually going to stay over in Europe. And look, they'll work on it getting bigger, faster, stronger, and all those things. But hey, I was just looking at some of the, how they give drafts on the grades. ESPN, Yahoo Sports, NBA Central, and everybody, it looked like as a consensus, everybody gave the Cavaliers a B+ on the draft last night because they didn't have any picks the night before. So they picked up 2 last night, and they got a B+. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And now the NBA, they'll have the Summer League, the big league out in Vegas. They'll start firing up here pretty soon. And and then that'll run for a couple of weeks, and then everybody will take a break, and then before you know it, man, they'll be coming into training camp, and we'll still be talking about the Guardians. We'll be talking about the Buckeyes, the Browns, high school football. It all just keeps going. There's no stop. One sport overlaps the other. Hockey. Did I see last night? Please tell me I was seeing things. Is the Canadian Football League, have they already started? I would have swore. I saw something on Twitter last night. It was a beautiful photo of the stadium in Winnipeg where the Blue Bombers play. I would have sworn that they're already playing football, like regular season in Canada. I was like, really? You couldn't wait till July? I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. I'll go back and check that out here during the break. Man, I know it gets cold in Canada quick, and I think that they play 18 regular season games, but still, you're looking at June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. All right, we're coming up on 20 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. We've got On This Day in Sports History coming up. That funny story about John Kruk during the Philadelphia Phillies broadcast last night. We got that. We'll talk a little more Guards, a little Cavs. We got our fill-in-the-blank Friday, and we got you on the phones as well. Stay with us, 1310 WDPN.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills, land your next job, or refine your resume, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We will provide everything you need to succeed, from resume assistance to job search guidance and everything in between. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
$1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show continues on a fill-in-the-blank Friday. Hope all is well out there in the world right now. I hope you're having a great Friday, your kickoff to the weekend. Hopefully not a lot of crazy pop-up wild storms this weekend. Some nice sun, get out and about, do what we got to get done, and get ready for another big week starting on Monday. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. Don't forget to like, share, follow, comment on the 1310 WDPN social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and don't forget Q92 radio page on YouTube. Funny, we had a call. Actually, there was a call that Ryan took while I was talking during that last segment. And I thought for a second, looks like I might have to be quiet or shut up for a minute and take this call. And I kept going for a little bit. I said, nah, it must be over with, whatever. So we ended the segment, went into commercial break, and then we had a little conversation. And I'm going to have Rainsburg explain what happened.
I think it was mostly because she was driving, so I would assume she's erring on the side of safety, trying not to talk and drive. But she called in to comment on you not being able to find your car, and she said when that happens to her, she just wonders where it took and parked itself this time. So she wanted to say that, but I don't think she had time to be on the air.
Well, that's cool, but we appreciate that.
I apologize, I couldn't catch your name, but yeah.
Yeah, I imagine a couple people chuckle out there when I said that there are times when I come out to a parking lot that I forget where I parked the car or have no idea where I parked the car.
I'm dreading the day that my brain finally declines to that point because I know it's coming. I'm already terrible at remembering everything anyway.
Hey, man, I didn't think it was going to hit me for another 15 years. And it is all go. It is in full force. There are times where I have no idea where I parked. There have been times I am looking for the car that I used to drive. Not the car that I own, but the previous car that I had. And I'm looking for that one. Well, you want to talk about stupidity. Try that one on for size. There have been days when I've been out there looking for either I used to drive an Escape, and then I was driving my wife's Fusion for about a year and a half. And I'll come out, and I'll be looking for those, not the car that I'm driving now. And I'm thinking, well, idiot, you're never going to find those other two because those are long gone. Yeah, happens all the time. How many times I'll be in the house. I'll be looking for my hat, a certain hat I want to wear with a certain shirt. And I'm walking around, I'm going upstairs, downstairs, in the room where we hang hats on a hook. There's another room upstairs where I hang my hats on a hook. And I'll just throw my hands up in the air and say, forget it. I'm just going to leave. I'll get in the car. I'll start the car, roll the windows down. I'll look in the rearview mirror, and the hat's on my head. The hat that I'm looking for has been on my head the whole time, and I didn't know it. How many times I've looked for keys? They're in my pocket. Had no idea they were in there. Jeez Louise. Is this what happens? Is it going to be this way forever, and it's just going to get worse?
I
please
don't
tell
know,
me,
man.
Please tell me.
Hopefully medicine advances so we could stop brain degeneration, but
I mean, my short-term memory is just brutal. It's one of those situations where it's kind of funny, hee. Oh, isn't that adorable? Oh, that's silly. But you know what? After it happens so many times, you get mad. You get angry. I curse myself up and down because of some of the stupidity. I will say, you dumb, I will, because that's how I feel at the time. It's no longer cute and funny and somebody to poke fun at. It's annoying. And I keep doing it. I'll leave something in one room. I'll walk out and I'll go back. Where is it? What am I looking for? The other day, what was I looking for the other day? I think it was my Buckeye. Oh, this thing here. I'll put it in front of the camera. My Buckeye, my Igloo, my little thermos thing. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it anywhere. I even looked in the refrigerator upstairs. We got another one downstairs. I went out in the garage. It was in my bag. Little side net pocket on the side of my bag that I bring to work. It was just sitting in there. Okay, great. I think what else I forget?
I think I can make you feel a little better.
Please do.
I have a really bad habit of leaving my wallet in my car, and
I do that
but I always know it's in the middle console because that's where I leave it.
That's where I leave. Yep.
And I lost my wallet for like 2 days last week, and was going crazy. I'm like, great, I'm gonna have to get a new ID. I'm gonna have to get a new social security card. Wallet was on my front seat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a black wallet on a black seat.
Yep.
So.
Oh, that's happened to me too.
Never occurred to me that I put it on the seat.
Yeah, it's sitting right there.
Yep.
It's looking at you and making fun of you.
Full-blown panic mode for 2 days.
Yeah.
Sitting right on the seat.
I know what it was I did the other day. Right. Now, look, I've been coming here, every Monday through Friday for 6 weeks?
Something like that.
7 weeks, something like that?
And starting to blur.
Last Tuesday, this past Tuesday, I got off the wrong exit to come to work. I always get 62. I get off at Beeson, take a left on Smith, and a quick right, and I'm here. I got off State Street the other day, and it dawned on me, once I passed that Fun Times Park that we went to on Father's Day, it's like, what the hell? I don't pass that when I come to work. I turned around, pulled in a business, and pulled out, and got back out on 62, and got back on the road again. I'm like, what? 7 weeks in a row of doing the same thing. I get off at the wrong exit. What do you say we do on this day in sports history? Holy mackerel.
Oh, man, you are right.
Wow. I'm telling you, I almost forgot to do that. Almost forgot to do that.
I did forget.
Oh. Getting old, man. On this day in 1939, Cleveland Municipal Stadium hosted its first night game. The Indians. Oh, the Indians, the good old days, beat the Tigers by the score of 5-0. On this day in 1972, Bobby Hall signed a 10-year hockey contract. 10 years for $2.5 million. He became a player and coach of the Winnipeg Jets of the WHA. On this day in 1990, Jose Canseco signed a contract with the Oakland A's worth $4.7 million a year. Audio time. On this day in 1988, let me take you to Atlantic City, New Jersey. 31-0 Michael Spinks takes on 34-0 Iron Mike Tyson.
Jacobs, Esquire Legal Counsel, and Championship Committee Chairman Dr. Elias M. Cordova. The 3 judges for this contest, John Stewart, Eva Shane, and Rocky Castellani. Chief ringside physician Dr. Frank Vidoka. Also at ringside, Dr. Stanley Eden and Dr. Charles Wilson. The timekeeper, Roosevelt Gilbert. And counting for the knockdown seconds.
All right, we're gonna bring that one down. That's not quite what we were looking for. I don't want to get in trouble for playing Michael Beffer because he goes after people sometimes. All right, on this day in 2004, the Boston Red Sox scored 10 runs before making an out against the Marlins. They would go on to win the game 25-8. Here's a little bit of that when they scored 14 runs in one inning.
To left and another hit. Nixon scores. They're going to wave around Miller, and that is going to end the inning. Runs in the first, and Miller cut down trying to make it 15. The hits just kept on coming in a record-setting first inning for the Red Sox. They were back for 50 minutes.
Unbelievable. They were at the plate for 50 minutes. And again, they would have gone to beat the Marlins 25-8. That is another edition of On This Day in Sports History. The news and the weather is next.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. In a ruling on President Trump's executive order aiming to end birthright citizenship in the United States, the Supreme Court has granted a win for the Trump administration. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reports.
This is a long-sought victory for conservatives who've been arguing for years that individual district court judges have exceeded their authority when they've granted nationwide injunctions to block an administration's actions. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote for the 6-3 majority that when lower court judges do that, they risk causing irreparable harm to the government. Now, this is not a final ruling on the limits of birthright citizenship, but for now, the court says the administration can begin to implement Trump's executive order.
President Trump celebrated the court's ruling at the White House this afternoon.
Hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves.
The plaintiffs in the birthright citizenship case filed an amended complaint seeking class action relief in response to the Supreme Court decision. President Trump says he expects Iran to open itself to international inspection to verify it doesn't restart its nuclear program. Asked during a White House news conference today if he would demand during expected talks with Iran that the International Atomic Energy Agency or some other organization be authorized to conduct inspections, the president responded the Islamic Republic would have to cooperate with that group or somebody that we respect, including ourselves. Earlier, Iran's top diplomat said that the possibility of new negotiations with the U.S. on his country's nuclear program has been complicated by the American attack on 3 of the sites, which he conceded caused serious damage. Senate Republicans appear to have President Trump's big bill back on track after a flurry of last-minute revisions, but there's still a long way to go. Trump himself gave Congress some breathing room as senators race to meet his 4th of July deadline, saying that date is not the end-all. With their majority control of Congress, the GOP is trying to push the package past Democratic opposition. To do so, they are working through a punch list of still unsettled issues, including Medicaid health care cuts. A federal judge has sentenced a Colorado funeral home owner who stashed nearly 190 decomposing bodies to 20 years in prison on federal fraud charges. John Halford stored the bodies in a room temperature building between 2019 and 2023. Prosecutors say he cheated customers and defrauded the federal government out of nearly $900,000 in pandemic aid. He had faced a maximum of 20 years in prison at today's sentencing. Halford will be sentenced in August in a separate state case in which he pleaded guilty to 191 counts of corpse abuse. It's 81 degrees and Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For this afternoon, we're expecting a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny skies, a high of 88 degrees. Chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly late tonight, otherwise mostly cloudy, low 71. Saturday, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high of 84. Sunday, mostly sunny, a high of 87. That's your WDPN weather.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Whenever darkness falling, you know the spirit of the party starts to come alive until the day is dawn.
Oh, George Benson. This used to be one of my favorite songs. Gimme the Night. I love this part coming up right here. Love this song. Welcome back. Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310, WDPN. I bet you that's in the Unforgettable Favorites catalog. I guarantee you it's in there.
Yes, that is the one AM song we have played today.
I knew it, man. I knew that was in there. George Benson. Give Me the Night and Turn Your Love Around. Those are the two big ones that he had. Ah, man, he was good. He really was. Welcome back, everybody. 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310, the Sam Bourquin Show. I think this is the first day, maybe ever, I have worn a red Buckeye polo and a red Buckeye hat. And every once in a while, I will glance up at the live video stream, and I'll be like, whoo, that's a lot of red. That is a lot of red right there, baby. And I got my red Buckeye cooler. Not cooler, my little, thermos, my little igloo thing here. We're all red today. It's Power Day. It's a Power Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. A little NFL note. This is courtesy of Brett McMurphy on X. Actually, it's a college kind of deal. UNLV is moving their September 13th home game with Idaho State to August the 23rd. You may say, well, why is that a big deal? That is going to allow Allegiant Stadium, which is the home of the Raiders and the home of UNLV, to host a championship boxing match between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. Woohoo! That's going to be a great fight. They're going to have that inside the stadium. Usually the fights in Vegas, they're at T-Mobile Arena or some other places that hold around, 14, 15, 16,000 people. They're going to hold this fight. The Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford fight's going to be in the Allegiant Stadium. They must be expecting a pretty good crowd for that fight. That's pretty good stuff right there. Looks like we are headed out to Vegas again this year, by the way. Did the trip last year when the Browns were out there in, what was it, September? I don't even remember. See, I can't remember when we were out there. September, or maybe it was around early October. But I think we're going to be going out again. And this year it's I think it's the Sunday before Thanksgiving week, if that makes sense. I think the Browns are out there in Vegas on like November 21st or 22nd or something like that. And I'm 99.9% we're going to be going out there again. So looking forward to that. We had planned to go to Houston in the end of July. And we were going to go catch an Astros game. We were going to go to the Space Center, hang out for a couple of days. And then some things came up. We had to move some things around. So the Houston trip is off. So I'm not going to get to go to that park this summer. But we're gonna take a quick trip up to Detroit and catch a Tigers game at Comerica Park and have some fun up there. It'll be a quick drive up, hang out, stay the night, drive home, kind of deal. So I'll be taking a day off there, then a couple of days off in November, so we can go out to Vegas and watch the Browns lose to the Raiders for the second year in a row. 20 minutes till the top of the hour. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show, and some great responses today. As always, you guys and gals are on top of it. Today's question, the best advice you have ever received was what? The best advice that you have ever received was what? What was it? Scott says, bet opposite of Sam Bourquin. Ha, 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 ha. See what you did there. Devin, don't blank into the wind. Use your imagination there.
Oh, hey, we got
So we're
Sal.
not allowed to say. What's up, Sal?
Sal texted in saying best advice is take the points.
or buy the points.
Yeah.
Take the points or buy the points. Sal, hope you're doing good, man. Yeah. Well, what do they always say at the end of the day? Always take the points. Man, if I'd listened to that advice, I'd be coming to you poolside from Planet Hollywood right now if I would have taken that kind of advice. Jeff says, live every day like it's your last. Peggy, act like you are somebody. That's good. Let's see here. Melvin says, drop back to the 40 and punt. That's funny. Pam says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's an oldie but a goodie. Jim says, listen, 2 ears are better than 1 mouth. Yep. Kenny Waybright says, everyone should retire at least once in their life. That's a pretty good one. Gary, Andy. Gary, I hope you're doing well. The only thing you have in life, your name and your word. Mike says, don't trust anybody that gives you their life story in the first 5 minutes after you've met them. Yep. I'm with you there, Big Daddy. I'm with you. No doubt about that. You ever meet somebody that just tells you everything? Like their whole life story in like the first 5 or 10 minutes. And your specialist like, okay, so what are you possibly going to tell me the next time? If there is a next time. And most likely there probably won't be because you just told me everything already. But you just wonder sometimes whether it's a guy or a girl, whether you're on a date, whether you're just, you just ran into somebody and they just start talking and telling you everything. It's like, are you telling me everything because you want me to tell you everything? And you're going to find something out and you're going to, try to use that in some crazy way? That's pretty good advice there. Yeah. Run for the hills, man. After the first 5 minutes and somebody tells you their life story, get out. Jimmy says, don't burn bridges. You just never know. John Davis, John, hope you're well, says, don't sweat the small stuff. Bill Wright, the pride of Canton South. Save 10% of everything that you make. Good advice. Most times impossible, but that's good advice. That's another thing that, we were all told years ago. Save. Put some money back. You don't need that. You don't need that Big Mac combo meal. You don't need that coffee. You don't need to go buy that shirt. Save your money. Put a certain percentage of it away and just let it build and build and build and build. And when you get that advice, when you're maybe your late teens, your 20s, maybe even your early 30s, you're like, that's so far down the road. Now think about it right now. Whoever you are right now listening and whatever age you are, think about if you would have taken that advice 5, 10, 20, 30, 35, 40 years ago. And you just would have continuously did that every week, every other week, every 2 weeks, however you get paid and got your money. And I don't care how you got it. I don't judge. And just think if you would have put a percentage of that away every time you had the opportunity and you just let it grow. After a year, after 3 years, after 7 years, after 10 years, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, you would have a nice little pot of money that you would be sitting on right now. But, for whatever reason, you thought, nope, not important at the time. I need this right now. I got to go get that tomorrow. I can't live another day without this. And we don't put our money away and we don't save it. We spend it. And then you open up that jar or that box and there's a couple of dollars in there. And usually there's a note in there. And you turn the note over and it says, see, dummy, you should have listened. And you got a couple of bucks in there. And that's all you got. But it's so hard. It's so hard to heed advice when you're you're just making your way through life at an early age. You're not thinking about 20, 25, 30, 50 years down the road. You're thinking about what? You're thinking about right now. You're thinking a little bit about yesterday. You're thinking about right now. And maybe the next day. That's it. Your mind, you're not thinking about years down the road. You're just not. That's just like not the way we're wired. Man, if I'd have heeded that advice. Whew. But I didn't. And here we are. All right, I've been promising you this clip, courtesy of the Philadelphia Phillies radio last night. The Phillies were at home. Let me pull this up here so I can set this up appropriately. I think they're in the same. What's today? Friday. Okay, so that was a getaway game yesterday for the Phillies because they moved on and they got a new opponent coming up here this week. So yesterday, the Phillies are in action, and former Philadelphia Philly, former San Diego Padre, you know him, you love him, the big man John Kruk. Remember Krucky? Big left-handed batter, always had a big full beard, a big wad of tobacco. He'd be chewing on it, spitting all night long. He was just one of those kind of guys. Krucky loved himself some beer. He loved to eat. Krucky loved to eat. So there was a situation where Krucky and his broadcast partner, this might have been during a break or there were a pitching change or something. And at the stadium, you could see the two guys in the booth. And then in the booth next to them were a couple of fans. And a couple of them looked like younger kids. And maybe they were getting like a stadium tour or they knew somebody with the organization. They just kind of popped in the press box. They were just kind of leaning over and they were just watching the game. So the game's going on. And John Kruk being John Kruk, just you talk about taking the world, taking life one day at a time. That's this guy. So let's pick up this conversation here with the Phillies game going on and John Kruk talking to his broadcast partner. And then, well, listen up.
I'm going to talk to this kid. I ain't got nothing else to do.
See if you can scare him. You scared him. You scared them. You scared the poor kid. Look, he's looking at 1-1 isn't foul. It's 1-2. There he is, Jeff. You're making amends.
Did you hear him? He goes, hey. And you should have seen these kids. They jumped 50 feet in the air. And then he and his broadcast partner just absolutely lost it. Then he tried to apologize at the end and he kind of reached over and shook his hand a little bit and they smiled. Everybody had a pretty good laugh. John Kruk. Wow. I tell you what, he's very entertaining on the Phillies broadcast too. John Kruk was a straight baseball player. Wasn't afraid to get dirty. Big left-handed hitter. He would sit in that box and he would swing for the fence every time. And sometimes he connected. Now he had a pretty good batting average too, but dude was trying to hit 500-foot home runs every pitch. And he was big. I told you he had that big grizzly beard, the little pot belly. He was always chewing tobacco and spitting and just getting all disgustingly dirty during a game. He was a player, man. He was fun to watch. I wish we had more guys that played today like John Kruk. He was a good one. Hope you enjoyed that. All right, we're coming up on 5:52 here on the Sam Bourquin Show. We are headed down the home stretch on this Fill in the Blank Friday. You want to squeeze a couple of calls in? You're more than welcome at 330-821-1310. You can also text us on all of our social media platforms on 1310 WDPN, on Twitter, on X, on Facebook, or the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Stay with us. Much more to come as we start down the final stretch here on the Sam Bourquin Show. AM 1310 WDPN.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them, epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready-to-act.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans. And without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
The heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck.
1310 WDPN. Welcome back. Sam Bourquin Show on a fill-in-the-blank Friday. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. And every day we're working more and more and more music into it, and pretty soon we'll have some tunes for you every day. A little bumper music going in and out. Couple we didn't get to today, we'll roll those over. We'll save those as we get into it next week. Cardinals and Guardians tonight. Sonny Gray against Luis Ortiz. 710 Progressive Field. Looks like it's going to be in the 80s. Should be a good crowd. A lot of Cardinals fans are going to be there. Cardinals are a small favorite tonight. They're minus 130 on the bet line, and the total is 8.5. Elsewhere tonight, Mets and Pirates at PNC. The A's and the Yankees at the stadium. Well, Yanks are a big favorite, minus 265 tonight. Rays and Orioles in Baltimore. What is going on with the Orioles? Man, how could you be so bad after being so good a year ago? I don't understand it. Tigers at home against the Twins tonight, little Central Division battle. Detroit 9.5 in front of the Guardians in the division. Toronto, after leaving Cleveland, they are now in Boston. Berrios and Bevo, the pitching matchup at Fenway Park tonight. Reds at home against the Padres. I'm going to give you a little nugget here. A lot of runs tonight down in Cincinnati. Vegas has the total 9.5. OVER. Over. Don't miss out on that. Phillies at the Braves tonight. 7:15 in Atlanta. White Sox against the Giants. You might see a lot of runs in that one, too. The more humid, the less wind, and you got a couple of crappy pitchers going, I think a lot of runs are going to be scored in that one tonight, too. White Sox, Giants. Rangers at home against the Mariners tonight. Nathan Eovaldi on the bump for Texas. Cubs at Houston tonight. Astros at home. The Dodgers at Kansas City. Well, that place will be packed all weekend long. Dusty May on the mound for the Dodgers tonight. Rockies at the Brewers. Colorado setting baseball back another 50 years every time they go out and play. Dodgers at the Nationals tonight out in Chavez Ravine, and the Marlins will be in Arizona. Cards and Guards play tomorrow, 4:10, and then on Sunday they will play. Oh, it's a nooner. It's a nooner on Sunday. I don't know for sure, but that must be a game on Prime, or that must be Apple TV. No, it says Roku. Jesus. Major League Baseball. Come on, man. Quit trying to make people hunt for games to watch. Just quit doing that. NHL Draft gets underway tonight. A brand new season. And the Florida Panthers, in about 3 months, they'll start all over again. And they'll try to go back to back to back Stanley Cup. Quick baseball note before we go. Clayton Kershaw last night against the Rockies, he struck out 5 in the Dodgers win. Clayton Kershaw only needs 5 more strikeouts to get 3,000. So we'll look forward to that sometime next week. All right, you hear Phil in the background. It's about that time. Thanks to Ryan Rainsberg. Great job today, as always. We appreciate your efforts. Thanks to all the callers, emailers, texters, and commenters on the phone and on all of our social media platforms. We appreciate you as well. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great weekend. And don't forget, go Browns, go Bucks, go Cavs, go Guards. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.
So